friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Aireonna, and the 49ers just tied the Raiders in their third preseason game. I wanted to go over some standouts, impressed, disappointed, and let you guys know. Then tomorrow I'll be going live with Ryan at 9 a.m. But for right now, well, really quickly, I want to get in. Kyle Shanahan just talked post-game, and if you guys didn't hear, Mike Silver this week on KNBR actually gave a scoop that the 49ers were aware that Ricky Pearsall was dealing with a shoulder injury prior to the draft. The same shoulder injury that has now kept him out of all of the preseason games and multiple practices. If you guys have been keeping up, he has participated in rookie minicamp. He got injured, was wearing a non-contact jersey. He played about a week, maybe 3 days with no contact with that non-contact jersey in OTAs, and then re-aggravated that injury. Well, Kyle Shanahan was finally asked today, hey, did you guys know that Ricky Pearsall was dealing with a shoulder injury prior to drafting him? Because if they drafted him knowing that he had shoulder injury problems, I mean, look back at Javon Kinlaw. Did they not learn anything about that? Ricky Pearsall, even if healthy, was already going to be a reach in the first round. Now you're going to reach in the first round for someone who's not that physically talented, not amazingly fast, not amazingly strong, and has a history of injury. So someone finally asked Kyle, and Kyle said, it is true, he had a shoulder injury in college. His final year and junior year of college, he struggled with a shoulder injury. Now, apparently his final year, towards the end of it, it was all healed, and they did not think he had any problems with it going into the draft. So I don't know if you would consider that a bit of a stretch by Mike Silver. He didn't report on this in the Chronicle, and he is a journalist. So I don't know if he didn't have enough sources to stand behind his opinion, but he did say it on KNBR that the 49ers were fully aware that Ricky Pearsall had an injury and kind of suggested that other teams might have not wanted to draft him because they were worried about that shoulder injury being re-aggravated. And you have to remember, Ricky hasn't participated in any games yet or any contact football yet. He doesn't participate in one-on-ones, and in 11-on-11s, he was wearing that non-contact jersey. He got hurt, according to Guy Haberman, who was at practice when he was doing arm circles with his shoulder. He got hurt just blocking a guy, so not even physically hit in the shoulder. Really freaks me out. Is he going to be ready for week one? I wish someone would have asked today. Hopefully we'll get more answers on Sunday or Monday. But I don't know if he's going to be ready for week one. And even if he is, if he can only last a couple practices without that injury getting re-aggravated, it's kind of scary to think about him in games. Games are like mini car crashes. So is he going to be rehabbing after every game if that shoulder isn't 100% healthy? It was a partial shoulder say that 5 times fast, separation that he dealt with. It's called a suplex shoulder injury is what he dealt with his junior year of college. And apparently something similar is what has bothered him during OTAs and then was re-aggravated recently, and the reason he wasn't practicing or traveling with the team. So that's an update on Mike Silver's non-report, but mentioning, and Ricky Pearsall, their first round pick. Now, moving into the rest of the draft, because aside from their first round pick, which is stereotypically first round or 49ers, don't look at the first round. Don't look at the first round. Trey Lance, friggin' Solomon Thomas, Javon Kinlaw. But I will say the rest of the draft looks really good. So I want to start with impressed. Really quickly, we're going to say Mason first. Obviously, he's not from this draft, but Jordan Mason looked like a complete beast. He came out, he had 8 carries for 42 yards. He is so physical and mean when he runs. He's so tough. He never gets pushed backwards. There can be 4 guys tackling him, and Jordan Mason is never going to get pushed backwards. He always falls forward. I even wonder, and this might be blasphemous and recency biased, but part of me wants to say, could he be the best running back on the team? Right now, obviously, Christian McCaffrey, because he has that wide receiver ability, is the better running back. but he's dealing with a calf strain, which is connected to the Achilles. You don't want to push that, especially with a guy who's had injury history and missed plenty of games. And Christian McCaffrey was kind of run into the ground last year. Obviously had a phenomenal season, but they were trying to break that touchdown record. He got a lot of touches. Jordan Mason looks incredible. Elijah Mitchell, not going to be on the team. Jordan Mason is obviously running back too. And anytime Christian McCaffrey can't go, Mason needs to go first. And to be honest, I think they need to take more off of Christian McCaffrey's plate and give it to Mason. Because as a pure runner, Mason might be better. I hope that's not blasphemy. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, I think, is more well-rounded. But Brock Purdy in his press conference and today talked about how in the playbook Jordan Mason has been. Something that Jordan Mason himself, by the way, admitted to this offseason. He said last year he wasn't as into the playbook. When it came to meetings, he didn't always know the answer. This time, Bobby Turner, the running backs coach, and Jordan Mason himself and Brock Purdy, Jordan Mason, Bobby Turner, and Brock Purdy all said that Jordan Mason has been studying. He's been in the playbook. Christian McCaffrey, who was on the sideline, a sideline reporter switched over to him, and when Mason was running, you could tell Christian McCaffrey was proud of him and locked in. Mason actually said that he's been sitting next to Christian McCaffrey in the meeting rooms. He also did catch a slant route, so working on that catching wide receiver ability. So impressed by Jordan Mason. Like I said, 8 carries for 42 yards, running hard, looked super impressive. I will say, the 49ers ones, Brock Purdy, the starting offensive lineman, obviously, except for Trent Williams, by the way, who needs to get that done. But hopefully, but all the 49ers had their first string because they didn't do the joint practices, so they needed to get those first stringers out there. Deebo Samuel, all those guys, everyone who wasn't injured was playing. The Raiders, Greg Papa said, were playing their second and third stringers. So if they did look a little good, we have to keep in mind that the competition was definitely low, which is kind of scary if you think that the 49ers did tie the game and they were playing their starters. Now, Clay Kubiak was game planning or calling the plays, which he did the first 2 preseason games too, was not Kyle. Moving on from Mason, who, like I said, just totally impressed. Isaac Rendo, this draft, I want to say he didn't super flash to me in the previous games. He was dealing with a hamstring injury during the last week or 2 of practices. He tested insanely at the combine. He broke records testing wise, but he didn't shine on the actual football field in college. But he shined today. I thought he ran very strong, very physical. He also had a 92-yard return, which was really impressive. And like I said, also a good runner. I definitely think, obviously he was going to make the team because he was a high draft pick this year anyways, but I think he could contribute above Elijah Mitchell. And maybe they want to have Elijah Mitchell as the 4th string guy, try to keep him from getting hurt, you know what I mean? Just call him up if necessary, he'll be the 3rd string guy if Christian McCaffrey isn't ready to go. But right now I see it as CMC, Jordan Mason, Isaac Rendo, Elijah Mitchell. Am I missing people? Probably. But anyways, Isaac Rendo definitely in the impressed category for me. I wanted to say Brock Purdy looked okay. He was definitely dealing with an O-line that was so horrific. Oh my God, there was this tackle. He took too many hits. You can't have your quarterback taking hits like that. Taking tackles like that. It was scary. Also, he did throw an interception. Now, I want to say the interception wasn't his fault. He first of all was being tackled from behind because the offensive line was doing him no favors. Then he tried to escape pressure, which was good on Brock Purdy for being fluid on his feet. The ball, I think got batted down from my point of view on the television, but he did get it into Deebo Samuel's hands. It was a little bit high, probably because the defender did hit the ball in the air, but Deebo could have caught it. It wasn't on his chest perfect, but it was a catchable ball, and the defender just got his hands right in the middle of Deebo's chest and bounced it out, and caught the interception, he turned around to start running to score a pick six. And Brock Purdy, insanely, you gotta love his heart. Obviously, the 49ers love that about him. But mind you, this is a preseason game. It's completely meaningless. And Brock Purdy being healthy week one and the entire season is the most important thing. Like, he doesn't even need to be out there going against third stringers who are recklessly trying to play to keep their job on the Raiders. Brock Purdy turns around and tries to make a tackle on the defender. There's like 260-pound guys running with the ball, and Brock Purdy like shoulder checks him to like bring him to the ground. Like I said, love his enthusiasm. Didn't love the throw, but understood it because he was facing so much pressure. The offensive line was really doing him no favors. Trent Williams' price is just going up and up and up. They need to get him back on the field as soon as possible. But yeah, don't make a tackle in the third preseason game against backups. Like, you don't need to do that at all. But good on Brock Purdy for having a good mindset. Hopefully he won't do that again. Aside from that, I thought he threw the ball pretty well when he had time. Once again, offensive line, not the best. But I will say, not the best in pass protection. I thought they did better against the run. Dominic Pooney, if he was a first-round pick, I feel like he would be highlighted. I've been very critical of Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch for not targeting the offensive line in the first round, but Dominic Pooney is a steal. I think that they got an automatic starter there. I think he's very good. His body actually looks NFL ready, even though he's a rookie. Might be because he's a little bit older. Obviously, he'll grow strength throughout this season and next offseason, and hopefully be even better next year, but right away, he's slotting in as a starter. Kyle Shanahan did say last week that he is going to be the starting right guard, but some people could be saying, okay, that's kind of because of injury. I think even without injury, Pooney deserves that job. He is held up way better than Colton McKivitz and some other guys that I'm going to talk about when I talk about my disappointed section. Lastly, and like I said, what I was going to say to finish up on Brock Purdy, he had 14 dropbacks. 9 of them were under pressure. So significantly more than half were under pressure. And Brock Purdy only had one, in my opinion, really questionable throw. Otherwise did pretty well. Cameron Latu caught one pass, and David Lombardi said he's on the ascension. I disagree. I think that Cameron Latu was gonna get cut, or at least he's probably not gonna get cut because they don't have any other tight ends, because they've drafted terribly at that position aside from George Kittle. But backup wise, they don't have anyone, and he was such a high draft pick that I feel like it makes them look bad if he's cut. But I think he's gonna be inactive all year. He made one catch, but I mean, I guess he wasn't terrible, which is progress from the fact that he hasn't been able to catch the ball in the past, but I mean, that doesn't make him good. So I disagreed with David Lombardi on that, but he did catch one pass. Take that for what you will. And then Jacob Cowing. We just got to pretend that Ricky doesn't exist and that was Jacob Cowing. I think that's what Jed's going to do. Didn't he kind of do that with Trey Lance? He tried to say that, that horrible draft pick, giving up all those picks, that's okay because we got Brock Purdy. It's like, that's not exactly how that works, but Jacob Cowing, just a beast. He's a really good route runner. He's pretty fast. He's not, the fastest, but he's pretty fast. He's an excellent route runner, catches the ball, really, really good, really impressive, gonna be a starter, probably gonna get, unless roster politics get into it, gonna get more catches than Ricky. Ricky's not even healthy, so probably gonna get more catches no matter what. But even if Ricky is healthy, I think he's going to get more catches. I wonder if he'll even get more than Juwan Jennings. And Juwan Jennings is good, but Cowing is younger, a little bit more agile. They obviously play different positions. I always think of Jennings as kind of like a pseudo tight end. He's like definitely a bigger wide receiver. Cowing's smaller. Not quite, the Ayuk catch radius and speed, but really, really impressive. Every single preseason game that he's been out there, just made an incredible play, an incredible touchdown, incredible catch every single game. Really stood out. He did the same thing in camp, by the way. This isn't something just in games where he's shown up. In camp, if you were to look at Danny Gray, Ricky and Jacob Cowing, and you had to decide who was the first round pick, I think you would think that it was Jacob Cowing. Jacob Cowing looks significantly better than both those players. Now, I didn't go to every single training camp practice, but from the ones that I did go to, I thought that he was a standout and fit right in with the rest of the starters, with Debo, with Jennings, all those guys. Not saying he plays that position, but saying that he will slot right in. He also has good chemistry with Brock Purdy. This was, I don't know why, but last game they didn't play Cowing with Brock Purdy, but they did this game, and I thought that he had good chemistry with Brock, which is impressive because he's new. So you assume that he's only going to get better, knock on wood, unless he gets injured, but hopefully he won't. Really, really enjoy Cowing. What a surprise. Definitely going to make the team, definitely going to make the roster. Usually they keep 5 to 6 wide receivers, and right now I think that will be, I'm assuming, hopefully not incorrectly, that Ayuk will be on the team. So Ayuk, Debo, I think Chris Conley, who did make an impressive catch today and has just been a good veteran. Chris Conley will be on there. Juwan Jennings. Ricky will make the team unless he's on IR, because first round pick, there's no way they're going to, not let him on the team. And then I think that Cowing gets a spot. So that's 6. Anyways, on to disappointments. Colton McKivitz. Why is he on the team? This is why I know earlier I said Pooney is doing well in the offensive line. But the reason that I wanted them to draft offensive linemen is they don't need one. They need like 4 new ones. So yeah, he was a huge reason that Brock Purdy suffered 2 giant hits, multiple tackles, and 9 pressures. Don't love Colton McKivitz out there. Also, yeah, it was just terrible in pass protection. They were doing okay with the running backs. I will say that group is progressing a little bit, but they need to get Trent Williams back. Ronnie Bell. Every throw to Ronnie Bell is a wasted throw, in my opinion. And that, I'm sad to say that, because I know there's certain reporters that have been to camp. They were at camp last year and wanted him to have a chance. Every single time he drops the ball. He throws it to another guy's hands. He catches it and then drops it. He hits it out of his hands. He can't catch the ball. It's just all preseason this has been happening in every single game. This wasn't even his worst game. I think against the Titans was his worst game, but he did not at all impress. They also put him at returner for a little while. He didn't impress there either. There was one return he did good, and it was right after he literally ended a drive. And you could tell that it was like, this is like me fighting for my life. If I don't do good on this one return right now, I'm literally not going to be on the plane back from Las Vegas. They're going to leave me here. So he did, well on one play, which is not enough. Maybe he'll be on the practice squad. I don't know what's going to happen with him, but I don't think they need to throw to him anymore. It's officially Jets week. I know it's going to be a little while. There's some off time before game 1, but I do not think that Ronnie Bell's going to be in any of these games. Braden Willis, really bad blocking tight end. They are screwed if George Kittle gets injured. Who do they have as a backup tight end? No one. Very, very bad. I know they drafted Cam Latu. They should have drafted another tight end. They tried to trade for a tight end this offseason. The Lions guy, if you guys remember, that didn't work out well. But yeah, so we're just going to cross our fingers. Literally, George Kittle had surgery this offseason, so kind of scary to be testing that. He's supposedly 100% healthy now. But yeah, hopefully it stays that way, because they are slim at tight end. Most slim at tight end. Is that the least depth that they have there, / like the defensive line? It's probably the least depth that they have. Now, obviously, George Kittle is probably, either the best or second best, depending on how you rate Travis Kelce, tight end in the league. So they have a great starter, but he does suffer with injury. Okay, now off of players, but I wanted to say for the rest of the disappointments, penalties. Every single preseason game, this one included, the 49ers have had false starts. They've had misassignments, just not getting the play off before the clock strikes down. I don't know what's up with them. They need to rein in on defense and defense and offense, and special teams, by the way, which we'll get to. But they need to rein in the penalties. That can cost you a game. And it has cost. It's the 49ers, if I'm not mistaken, when they lost to the Justin Fields-led Bears, it was because they gave up like 103 yards in penalties. This has bitten them in the ass before. They've consistently struggled with penalties under Kyle Shanahan. I felt like they cleaned it up a little bit last year. Not nearly enough, but comparatively. And now all offseason, penalties have been a huge problem for them again. So clean up the penalties. Special teams, they gave up a punt return touchdown. It's a whole new rule book for the for the kickoffs, and the special teams still can't make anything. Like, they just find new ways to be bad. I don't know what they're doing there. Samuel Womack, no offense, he's got to go. He gave up a touchdown. He looked bad. Special teams, very unimpressive. Very, very unimpressive. Also, they need to work on their missed tackles. Tackling was an issue last year, and that's scary because last year they at least had Dre Greenlaw. Now Greenlaw is injured, and obviously there's some rookie linebackers that look like they could be promising on the other side of Warner, but they need to clean up those tackles. They had 7 missed tackles this game, and once again, there was starters going against backups, third-string players from the Raiders. So you don't want to have that many tackles when you're not even going against solid competition. So that's that for disappointments. I'm kind of running through this because I am going to be live tomorrow morning. Then injury news, Leonard Floyd went down in the game. Now, he hasn't missed the game since 2017, so we're going to knock on wood. He was seen by the trainer, but then he was seen back up. He was questionable to return, and I don't think he did return, but he was walking around, joking, laughing with Kyle Shanahan, seemed to be in good spirits, so I feel promising about Leonard Floyd. He came back, like I said, I don't think he came back and played in the game, but he wasn't like gone in the locker room. He was on the sideline, smiling, laughing, walking on that leg. So I think Leonard Floyd is okay. Gross Matos, he didn't come back. And I didn't see, they played I gave you some updates from Kyle Shanahan's press conference. I don't know if they'll fix it in, like, when they retouch it, but I was trying to listen to it live right before I recorded this video, and the first 5 minutes of it were like muted when he was giving injury updates. So I assume that Gross Matos is getting an MRI, but once again, we didn't see him come back on the sidelines. He was ruled out as like questionable to return, but then never did return. So I'm hoping he'll be okay. Probably getting an MRI now, although sometimes things don't even, they feel okay and then they go to sleep and it swells up. So look to Sunday, Monday to get a real update on what's going on with Gross Matos. So those were my takeaways. It's been a really fun preseason. I was very interested, so that was good. Even going against the Raiders third strings, it was still a really good game. Yeah, everyone please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ashley Aireonna. I'm going to be going live tomorrow, going live with Tom Jensen from SI later this week, and Marco, and probably doing a call-in. But tomorrow, 9 a.m., we'll be recapping everything for you. Keep it locked and loaded too, because there was no Ayuk signing. I know a lot of, buzz, different memes going on, people trying to allude to something breaking, but there was no Brandon Ayuk or Trent Williams news. So as soon as there is breaking news, I'll go live immediately, let you guys call in. We'll talk about it, see how that contract goes. Both of them talk about winners, the 49ers and Raiders tied. Trent Williams is a winner. That offensive line sucks without him. Also, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel can't run a route. Jacob Cowan can run better routes than Deebo Samuel. And I love Deebo Samuel. He might be my favorite player because I love how angry and physical he is. But route running is not his skill. They need someone who can do that. And running and getting open downfield is Brandon Ayuk's specialty, and they're missing that right now. So they need to get him on the team. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Have a great night. Bye.